Concordia. And then I have some notes on this on the back here. And then I have a diagram of the skin layers. This top portion here would be the epidermis. The middle section here would be the dermis. And then this bottom part where it kind of starts to swivel, that is the hypodermis, also known as the subcutaneous tissue. The epidermis is made up of 4 to 5 layers of epithelial cells. And some of the functions of this layer are that it produces melanin, and that helps protect our living cells from any UV radiation damage. Another function would be that it protects our body from any bacteria or foreign particles from entering our body, and it also contains receptors that stimulate sensory nerves in our body. For example, these receptors can send a message to our brain in order for us to perceive what touch is. And then the dermis layer, that one's made up of 2 layers of connective tissues. And some of the functions are that it contains the sweat glands in this layer, and that helps regulate the body temperature throughout. It also contains follicles for hair production. Our blood vessels are in this layer of the skin. It's also another barrier of protection. It fights off any infection or bacteria that may enter if the skin is ever broken. It also contains nerve supplies that help us with sensation. And then the hypodermis or subcutaneous tissue, the function of this layer is that it connects the skin to fibrous tissues of the bones and muscles. And then it also helps with insulation of our body using fat storage. It uses like the adipose tissue. And then also it's another layer of protection. So all 3 layers have some sort of protection for our body. And then the disease that I chose is psoriasis. Some of the structural changes that occur with this disease is that it causes for our cells on the outer layer called keratinocytes to rapidly produce cells, but it doesn't shed the old ones properly. So because of this overgrowth, it starts to create like a thickening of the skin, which changes the structure of how the skin is normally supposed to look or feel. It causes thickening, flaky patches, sometimes plaques of like dry skin, and it just creates these scaly patches, and the immune system is what triggers this overgrowth, but it changes how the skin looks and feels. And then for the functional changes of psoriasis are that the skin is usually a barrier of protection, but with psoriasis, sometimes because the skin can't secrete lipids like it normally does, it results in flaky skin. So the epidermal cells are in charge of secreting these lipids, but when it can't do that, it creates like dry, flaky, patchy skin, and then that can cause skin breakdown, which can then allow for foreign particles or bacteria to enter and cause infections. So it changes the way the skin functions in some ways. Thank you very much.